and action. Eventually. There we go. Good enough. All right, so lesson 2. Let's go with pick mute. So define expectation. What do you got, Sheila?
Okay. What I got was what you or someone thinks should be done or how it should be done to make someone satisfied.
There you go. Very good. Anybody else? Carlos?
I put what you define as success.
That's a good perspective on that. I like that. All right, so this one's one of the ones for our toolbox. So this should go on your toolbox page. Toolbox should already have introspection and discrimination. On this, we are going to have our 3 mental powers. And this is not telepathy and telekinesis where I can throw stuff across rooms with my mind. These are not that cool, but way more transformative. So your mental powers, we have the ability to reason. I'm gonna use the other marker because this one's garbage. I need to get to Costco. Huh?
I said bye.
I need to, yeah, right, a little note. I need to get my parents to bring me to Costco because they got the Costco card. We have the ability to reason. We can think about situations. The highest form of reason, I like to use the word wisdom, because wisdom is acting by your highest faculties. If you are being wise, you didn't just run in and do it. You thought about it, you gave it some thought, you're really trying to do your best when you are acting wisely, right? Second, and this is going to kind of lead us into our next topic of conversation, which is relationship between the sexes and spiritual marriage. All right, reason, intuition, or that, damn it, not intuition yet, reason, feeling, right? And this is using our emotions. And the highest form of this is intuition. Gotta go backwards. And in the next one, we're going to talk about how, in general, right, this isn't everybody, but in general, men are guided by reason and women are guided by feelings. Some are vice versa. I'm about 50-50. I'm kind of girly. But I read one of the quotes from this book, like almost every time, and I cry. It's just so pretty. Like, it's just the way we are. Some people feel heavy, some people reason too much. And what we should be doing is trying to make a balance, right? We'd get way better, we'd get way farther with both shoes than just one. Same here. If you reason and feel, you're gonna get a lot further. And the power, like the engine behind this is will. Right? Will is the switch that changes thoughts into energy. Without willpower, you can't even get out of bed in the morning. And I think we all know that that's when it's put to its greatest test, right? Is just to get up and face the day and start the day. But that is what we all have to do. We have to use our will combined with reasoning and feeling to do the best we can. And this is the engine that drives everyone. Master says if you do not use your willpower, you would be a mechanical man. Just a robot running, doing nothing. All right, so that takes care of our toolbox. Any questions there? All right, so next question I want you to write down is, what can you expect of others? What can you expect of others? I know you're gonna write this long diatribe, but the unfortunate answer, nothing. You can expect much of yourself, but to expect of others doesn't always work out. Right? And then, what should you expect from yourself? I look in that book, because there's something calling me. It is not realistic, it isn't fair to expect or to demand the ultimate perfection from another human being when we ourselves are not perfect. We must expect nothing from others and much of ourselves. Just imagine a marriage of two people who have that attitude. Expecting nothing from the other, but much of themselves. A relationship based on giving. Think about it. I already told you the good farmer one, so we're a little ahead there. How much do you think people are influenced by the people around them? How much do you think people are influenced by the people around them? Now, as Shayla was kind enough to point out earlier, I am a math guy. Like, I love math. There's visual representations for everything. I believe this one is a bell curve, just like most natural things. If you take a classroom of students at random, you're going to have really short ones, really average ones, and really tall ones. Amongst humans, you're going to have total douchebags, halfway decent people, and really nice people, right? So I think people allow themselves to be influenced in the same way. You have the people who are total sheep, right? The people who kind of think for themselves, like down here they wish they could, but they can't. Up here they're almost there. And then these are the people who, you can't tell me anything. I'm a Scorpio. I'm sorry. I do me. All right, wait. Oh, this is lesson 2. So this lesson is titled, this is the pre-lesson. This one is titled, I'm gonna erase up here, everybody has it? Marriage. A relationship between equals. A relationship between equals. And this is a non-demois, which doesn't make me cry as much as Gyanamata, but we'll try and keep it low. Marriage is a relationship between equals. This is an old concept. Equals who have a different role externally, but who strive to attain that true, deep purpose of helping one another to perfect the pure divine qualities of reason, perfecting to wisdom, feeling, perfecting to intuition, to become ready to merge into God. Now let us look at marriage. This is from an article Anandamoy read. Social scientists have made tests to see to what degree husbands and wives knew each other, even in superficial things. In one test, husbands and wives, each in their separate rooms, We're given an array of gifts such as gloves, scarves, belts, wallets, and asked to guess what their partner would prefer. This is horrible. Not one of the couples succeeded in predicting their partner's choice. Not one. And we're talking about divine friendship, unconditional union. This means that they are not making an effort to reach out and understand, even superficially. Now, I want you to think about a relationship with somebody. Could you have picked the perfect gift? Do you try and get to know the other person enough to where, man, this would have been it. If I would have got them that, they would have been bawling their eyes out for days. Because, unfortunately, they do not understand what marriage is all about. The article goes on to say, despite the argument of some feminists, there are basic differences between men and women. No man knows what it feels like to be pregnant, to nurse a baby. Each month, women react to stimuli that do not act on the male body. A man can never share, never fully understand the ways in which this inner calendar may profoundly influence women's moods and her responses. This is very, very important, so escribe. Each sex views the other from behind barriers composed of different feelings and sensations. So each sex views the other from behind barriers composed of different feelings and sensations. They both perceive the world in such vastly different ways that there is, without effort, a communication breakdown. If we don't make that effort to communicate, if we don't make that effort to have empathy and to try and understand the person, there will be a failure in the marriage. Although these feelings and sensations can never be adequately described by one sex to the other, and most husbands and wives are not aware that they even exist, each feels cheated when the other fails to understand the mood or action that arises from one of these basic differences. No matter how great the desire for total communication, each sex sends only the kind of message it is equipped to send and receives only the messages it is equipped to receive. So each sex sends only the kind of message it is equipped to send, and receives only the messages it is equipped to receive. Receives only the messages it is equipped to receive. Thus, a woman whose depressed mood is due to premenstruation tension feels angry and lonely when her husband, from whom she wanted a show of tenderness, tells her to snap out of it because he sees no reason for her depression. Right? We talked about reason and intuition and how most men are entirely guided by reason and some women are entirely guided by feelings. And that's why there's this disparity. There's no understanding involved because there's that great difference. Let's see. With the sending and receiving apparatus so different, it is no wonder that the messages often pass wide of their mark. Right? You're trying to hit the bullseye, it goes 3 blocks that way. Let me see. Make an attempt to communicate. Chemistry of feelings is a good one, so if we got time, maybe we'll do it. All right. That is a description of ordinary marriage, not spiritual marriage. What those scientists do not know, this one's going to get deep, so, is that man and woman can understand each other not through reason, but through intuition. Intuition is the all-knowing power of the soul. Through spiritually reaching out and deeply trying to understand and feel, we can start to develop that intuition but there's the main thing that you have to have as the foundation of intuition is calmness. Calmness is the foundation of the intuitive sense. If you want to have intuition, you have to learn to be calm. All right. As well, every man has lived innumerable lives as a woman, and vice versa. I'm going to read you my cry story, and then we'll move on. The other day, I came across this story. A woman said to her husband, "You know, I would like you to express more affection to me." So what is she doing? She's communicating. She's telling him, "Look, I got a problem, all right? I need you to be more affectionate." For instance, and then she gives him, this is how you do it. She doesn't just say you need to be more affectionate and then get pissed off for the next 3 days. She says, "Look, never expect another human being to be a telepath. Are you a telepath? Then use your words." So, what I would like you to express more affection. For instance, when you come home from the office, I would like you to kiss me. And the husband cooperated. When he came home the next day, he kissed her. "No," said the wife, "that's not long enough." "All right, how long?" he asks. 8 seconds, she replies. And it worked. A little thing like that brought them so close, they eventually made a game out of it. Sometimes he would come home from the office and say, "I had a terrible day. It's only going to be 6 seconds." Or he would come home and say, "I had a glorious day. Today it's going to be 10. And this story illustrates that we should show affection, right? Don't just assume, don't take for granted that your husband or your wife knows of your love. Express that affection. That goes for children too. In this country especially, sorry, I gotta do this one. In this country especially, children get everything material. Toys, money, cars, phones, but many of them do not get love. I have seen the tragedy that results from such neglect. Love is more important to the development of a child than all the toys and money and gifts in the world. In very poor countries, you sometimes find that children are cuddled and caressed. They are given attention, but no expensive toys. Yet they grow up into healthy, well-balanced adults. In our society, some of those who come from well-to-do families have every material want satisfied by their parents, but they are not given enough love, and they grow up as emotional